November is here, guys, and it's the biggest moment for Sony and PlayStation 5 Pro. Here are the biggest leaks and gaming news you probably missed this week. PlayStation Plus free games for November 2024 have been revealed. Little Big Planet gets delisted from the PlayStation Store. Dragon's Dogma 2 just dropped a PlayStation 5 Pro patch with new graphics options. Astrobot's free DLC Update 3 is out now with fresh content. PlayStation's boss wants the PS5 Pro to keep pushing the 10-year console cycle. PS5 Pro improvements also aim at better repairability and design for the future. And Assassin's Creed Shadows lowers its price by $50, dropping early access in its collector's edition. Now, some people ask, what if GTA 6 doesn't get a PS5 Pro optimized version? But first, the question of the day. How are you feeling today? How hyped are you for the PS5 Pro? And how many sick days are you taking off from work? Don't worry, I'm not going to tell if you like the video. PlayStation has revealed this month's batch of free games for PlayStation Plus subscribers. All PS Plus members will be able to claim a trio of freebies starting November 5th. Released last year, Hot Wheels unleashed 2 turbocharged builds on the foundation of the first Matchbox car racing game with even more vehicles, imaginative racing circuits, and tweaks to the gameplay. It's not a complicated racing game, but with its nuanced driving styles and over 130 vehicles to collect, it's a fun game for the entire family to check out. For something less kid-friendly, Ghostwire Tokyo is a mix of first-person action, spellcasting, and spooky enemies to pummel. Set in Tokyo after it's overrun by supernatural forces unleashed by a sinister occultist, it's up to you to get to the bottom of this mystery and save the day. Finally, Death Note Killer is a brand new game that mixes detective work with teamwork. Based on the hit anime series, players have to figure out each other's identities and eliminate the opposition in this battle of wits. The Death Note, a supernatural book that can kill anyone whose name is written in it, is hidden among the players, and you'll have to formulate strategies on the fly to emerge triumphant in this high-stakes game. What game are you excited to jump in this month? I'll definitely go for Ghostwire Tokyo this time. If none of these float your boat, I've got an extra fun game for you that I've been playing for the past couple of weeks and having a blast. And get this, it's from one of the most beloved publishers in recent years. Who is this publisher, I hear you ask? It's Ubisoft. So hear me out. Yes, it's a Ubisoft game, and I know Ubisoft has been under fire lately for some pretty obvious reasons. A history of repeated formulas, some questionable monetization strategies, and honestly, just a lot of disappointment. But Riders Republic? This is the breath of fresh air we all needed, and I've been hooked. Imagine an open world that's like a playground for extreme sports. You can switch between mountain biking, snowboarding, skiing, and even wingsuiting, all in this massive, vibrant environment that combines some of the most stunning national parks. You're basically dropped into this huge map where you can just pick a direction and start shredding down a mountain or flying over cliffs. It's like the game says, here's the sandbox, go wild. And the best part? It's got this fun, chilled vibe, not taking itself too seriously. You can be hitting gnarly tricks, crashing spectacularly, and still laughing the whole time because the game makes it feel like it's all part of the experience. Now, you don't even have to drop a cent if you're on PlayStation Plus Extra, which honestly makes this even better. You get to dive into this massive, multiplayer open world, meet tons of other players, and join these ridiculous 50-player races where everyone's just scrambling down the mountain, crashing into each other in pure chaos. It's messy, it's wild, and somehow it's the most fun I've had in ages. Seriously, give it a try. Ubisoft has confirmed that the Assassin's Creed Shadows Collector's Edition, a honkin' big package that comes complete with a 16-inch statue, art book, wall scroll, and other such good stuff, will not include 3 days of early access to the game. The 3-day early access period was included as one of the benefits of the Collector's Edition, which is still listed, but not actually available for pre-order on GameStop. Play up to 3 days early with the Collector's Edition, which includes the base game, the Season Pass, and various high-quality collector's items, it states. Ubisoft alluded to the elimination of the early access period in September when it announced the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows to February 14, 2025, saying that all players will be able to enjoy the game at the same time. It's now been confirmed by Ubisoft community manager Ubi Real Dude, who wrote on the official Assassin's Creed Discord that there is no early access for AC Shadows anymore. It will instead be released at the same time as the standard edition on February 14th. To compensate for the loss of the early access period, the cost is being reduced. Instead of going for $280 as it was originally priced, the collector's edition will sell for $230. A pretty deep cut for what I would say is a relatively minor loss. Ubi Real Dude said the digital contents of the Assassin's Creed Shadows CE will mostly remain as initially advertised, although some design elements may change. At least some of those changes can be seen in an updated promo image for the CE they shared. A reference to the Season Pass is out. Ubisoft said in the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay announcement that it was also departing from the traditional Season Pass model, as is mention of a red dragon photo filter. There was some speculation when the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay was announced that Ubisoft would use the time to reduce the prominence of the Yasuke character or remove him entirely in response to backlash from certain overexcited quarters of gaming fandom who take issue with the presence of a black man in a game set in feudal Japan. In response to an inquiry about the status of the characters following the announcement of the CE changes, Discord moderator Rodrex said it's not happening and pointed out that it's a bit absurd to think that it would. Yasuke is in the game and he won't be removed, they wrote. There's not enough time to make the necessary changes required to remove him, and it doesn't make any sense in doing so too. Alright, here's my take on this Assassin's Creed Shadows update. Look, I'm definitely hyped for the game and grabbing it day one. I've played every single Assassin's Creed game, and fun fact, I actually built my first gaming PC just to play AC one way back. But even I have to laugh at the saga that's unfolding here. So, yeah, we're getting less early access and a little less bonus content, but we're still getting a solid collector's edition. And hey, even with the cuts, I'm just here for the gameplay, and maybe a little for the fan outrage. Alright, so the Monster Hunter Wilds beta is finally here on all platforms. But here's the kicker. For some PC players, the game's performance is a bit of a monster itself. Not too shocking when you look at the intense system requirements Capcom put out earlier. But some of the weird graphics glitches, like broken textures, are thankfully just bugs, not an actual hardware issue. Capcom reassured everyone that the full game's already in a better place than the beta. They even shared some workarounds for common problems, especially for those playing on Steam. The Monster Hunter team posted on Twitter saying that bugs like weird after-image noise, especially with frame generation on, will be fixed by launch. They also shared a detailed guide for troubleshooting if you're having trouble getting it to run smoothly. Some key tips include adding the game to your antivirus exceptions, making sure it and Steam have admin privileges, updating your drivers, and double-checking the game's files on Steam. A few other fixes are worth a try too. For example, if you're getting stability issues, Capcom recommends deleting shader cache files. And if frame generation is grayed out, make sure GPU scheduling is turned on. But if you're having crashes due to low VRAM, they're kind of telling you to either talk to Intel or your PC manufacturer, which isn't exactly the most helpful. And this is why I'm buying a PlayStation 5 Pro. More on this later. So, here's the scoop with Helldivers 2. The game dropped back in February 2024 and was an instant hit. People loved its intense gameplay and the darkly funny over-the-top vibe. It actually became Sony's most successful PC launch. But, like any game, it's got a few quirks that fans are hoping Arrowhead Game Studios will iron out, especially around the in-game cosmetics. One thing players are talking about is a noticeable price hike in the game's superstore. Somebody on Reddit recently shared a screenshot from the Acquisition Center in Helldivers 2's subreddit, pointing out how expensive some of the new items have become. Specifically, the new Doubt Killer armor set, which comes with a banner, costs 925 super credits. Here's the weird part. The full Truth Enforcer's Warbond pack, which includes a bunch of extras, is only 75 credits more. So fans are feeling like it's a bit steep to pay nearly as much for just an armor set and banner, when the Warbond gives you a lot more. This isn't the only issue players are raising. There's also been some disappointment over the lack of heavy armor in the Warbond bundle. For a game that's had a pretty good selection of heavy armor cosmetics, it's surprising not to see any in the latest batch. A lot of fans are crossing their fingers for more heavy armor in the next update, though there's some concern it might be pricey. The good news? You can earn super credits for free just by playing, so you don't have to spend real money on these items if you're willing to save up. Honestly, watching Helldivers 2 players react to new updates is almost more fun than the game itself. Every time there's a new patch or Warbond drop, it's like lighting a fuse. Everyone's about to explode over something, whether it's overpriced superstore items, the latest armor set, or the game's difficulty swinging from too easy to soul-crushingly hard. It's become tradition at this point. A new update drops, and immediately, Reddit and the forums go wild. There are heated debates about super credit costs, complaints about how this warbond is missing a cape, and heartfelt cries for more heavy armor. There's probably even someone out there writing a manifesto on why the Doubt Killer set should include expressive capes. Honestly, I'm not even hyped for the updates anymore. I'm just excited to see what fans will be furious about this time. Will it be the Superstore prices? Maybe another tweak to Sentry stratagems? Or, who knows, maybe they'll riot because a bug made the sky 2 shades lighter. So, Insomniac is hyped about what the PS5 Pro is bringing to Ratchet & Clank. Their whole message is basically about how they're stoked that the new console power lets them drop the old performance versus fidelity choice that players usually have to make. In their eyes, it means you can finally play Ratchet & Clank with all the stunning visuals and smooth gameplay at once, instead of having to pick one. They're saying that the PS5 Pro finally lets players see the true vision they had for the game from the beginning. So, no more compromises. You get all the crazy details they packed into the game with ultra-high graphics and smooth frame rates, which they believe will make it more immersive. With tools like PSSR, whatever tech magic that is, they're reaching a whole new level of realism and atmosphere in their worlds. The team thinks it'll give players the best possible experience of Ratchet & Clank, bringing out all the tiny, hidden details and giving that full experience they're proud of. They're super excited about how much more they can do now with the PS5 Pro to make their games look and feel exactly how they've always imagined. Sounds like Insomniac is ready to push things even further with this new hardware. Astrobot update for free DLC speedrun level 3, Spring-Loaded Run, is out now. The bonus challenge comes with yet another pair of bots to rescue, a bronze trophy, and of course, the opportunity to compete with other players via online leaderboards. Those who complete Spring-Loaded Run will pop the Punchy Rescue bronze trophy. As has been the case in previous speedrun levels, you only need to complete the level and automatically rescue one of the bots in the end to unlock the trophy. In order to rescue both bots and eventually earn the silver Fast and Found trophy, players need to beat the bird to the finish line. The time limit varies between each speedrun level. To recap, with Building Speed, Let It Slide, and Spring Loaded, the following levels remain in the Stellar Speedway free DLC pack. November 7th, Helium Heights. November 14th, Rising Heat. Look out for these 2 levels at 6 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on their respective dates. Sony Interactive Entertainment co-CEO Hideaki Nishino has reiterated the company's commitment to both versions of the PS5, as well as a 10-year life cycle for this console generation. While speaking with Variety, Nishino said that he was happy to see that the most engaged gaming users are interested in the PS5 Pro, and shared his belief that new users will grab the PS5 Pro as well. "We design everything with having one ahead in our mind," added Nishino. "It's not like we just make a next step and we don't know about the 2 steps ahead. That's not our way of working because we need to make sure that the 10-year-old generation cycle continues to be going as well." The PlayStation 4 Pro was introduced in 2016, only 4 years before the launch of PlayStation 5. However, there are still PlayStation 4 games in production, which means its life cycle has now reached 11 years, even though the PS5 has been Sony's primary focus since 2020. Will Sony really wait until 2028 to 2030 to release its next-gen PlayStation 6 if Microsoft releases another generational upgrade of the Xbox first? Nishino didn't address that, but he did stress that the PlayStation 5 Pro is not a next-gen console. "I just wanted to say that the Pro is not a next-gen," said Nishino. "It is still in the PlayStation 5 generation. PS5 Pro will do everything what PS5 does. So it's a consumer choice. If they see a need for more visuality, they will get it. So we wanted to provide an option for the consumer within the generation. That's what we're doing." Players have known this since Sony announced the release, but the official packaging of the PlayStation Pro 5 has caught the ire of some gamers by listing its disc-free nature as a feature. Some have already speculated that the PS5 Pro could mark the end of physical games, as it's the first flagship console from Sony or Microsoft not to have a disc-supporting version. That speculation sparked a good deal of controversy among fans. Now that the PS5's official box art is out in the open, its proud proclamation of being discless may feel like rubbing salt in the wound. Even though the PS5 Pro won't be released until November 7th, some reviewers and retailers have already gotten their hands on the console. The official PlayStation Store listing for the console also reveals its packaging, which features the words "disc-free console" in the upper right corner. Considering this appears right next to the logos for its 4K and HDR specs, it seems like Sony is telling buyers that the lack of physical media is actually an advantage. Of course, the text and little disc logo could also be the company trying to maintain transparency with users, but it doesn't necessarily come across that way. Let's also not forget that PS5 Pro also comes with a 2TB high-speed SSD, and probably Sony was looking at statistics. More people buy digital games. I'm guilty of that too. But what they saw is that people care more about storage than the disk drive. I don't know. That's just my take. What do you think? Or what would you have preferred? Disk drive included or a 2T SSD? We'll get back to this topic later in the video. Here's a cool little detail I found out about the PS5 Pro just a couple of hours ago. This info comes straight from WCCF Tech. So, the PlayStation 5 Pro features a major repairability improvement that is usually not found in video game consoles. Judging from a picture of the system that's been making the rounds, the soon-to-be-released console features a slot that grants quick access to the CMOS battery. This battery is an extremely important component of gaming systems, as it powers the CMOS chip that stores important hardware information and may prevent a system from functioning properly, as was the case for the PlayStation 4 before Sony issued an update to fix the issues related to a bad or missing CMOS battery. Thankfully, it won't be long before we learn more about the PlayStation 5 Pro, as the system launches next week worldwide and has already reached stores. Earlier this week, the console also got into the hands of the press and influencers, and, not being able to talk about the system just yet, some of them got rather creative and decided to review the box, which is a markedly PlayStation box. Don't stress about the PS5 Pro just yet. Sony is still supporting the base PS5, and it's still a beast of a console. So if the PS5 Pro price feels a little steep, you can absolutely hold off. Maybe wait a year or so. But if you're set on getting a Pro, summer 2025 is probably the time to grab it. I'm telling you, as soon as GTA 6 drops, the PS5 Pro will likely be sold out everywhere. Now, some people ask, what if GTA 6 doesn't get a PS5 Pro optimized version? To that, I say, Rockstar's had PlayStation 5 Pro prototypes in hand for a couple of years now. Plus, from everything I've heard, Sony's made a secret marketing deal with Rockstar for GTA 6. You know what that means, right? When that second or third GTA 6 trailer drops, I bet we'll see enhanced for PS5 Pro, or play at 60 FPS with RT on PS5 Pro. Here's the cool thing. Sony has a whole team working with third-party developers to make sure games look and play their best on the PS5. They provide dev kits, testing tools, and even hands-on support from tech experts. Developers get help optimizing for the PS5's SSD, the 3D audio, and that awesome haptic feedback in the DualSense controller. Sony's basically supporting devs every step of the way, from testing and bug fixes to quality checks and post-launch updates. And for the people saying, why upgrade to a PS5 Pro if PS6 is coming in a few years? Listen, I'm all in. I'll buy a PS5 Pro, a PS6, and even a PS6 Pro if it means getting the best experience every few years. I just added 32 gigabytes of RAM to my laptop to keep it running smooth with all my tabs and video editing, so why wouldn't I upgrade my console every 3 to 4 years? I'm here for it, just like I was with PS1, PS2. Every generation gets better, and I have zero regrets. Another thing that always annoys me is when I see this statement, oh, you're locked into an ecosystem, and you need to pay for PS Plus monthly to play online. Listen, buddy, a lot of PS5 gamers, including myself, primarily play single-player games, and we pay for PS Plus Extra, not because we have to, but because we want to. I could cancel my PS Plus subscription tomorrow and still enjoy my games and watch YouTube on my PS5. I used to have subscriptions to Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Spotify that I barely used. So I canceled all of those, but I still keep my PS Plus Extra to play single-player games. We PlayStation fans love the PlayStation ecosystem, and we appreciate the PlayStation app on our phones. Honestly, I hate everything about Microsoft and Windows. I can't stand that I have to edit this video on a Windows laptop. I really hope that in 2 years, Android OS becomes better than Windows, so I can make a full switch before Microsoft destroys my entire productivity. So, remember how I was all set on postponing the PS5 Pro to build a serious PC rig for video editing and all that? Well, over the past couple of weeks, I've been messing around with my setup, upgraded my RAM, overclocked the CPU a bit, and just did a bunch of tweaking. But honestly, after looking at tons of $1,500 PC builds, I keep thinking, meh, is it really worth it? Lately, I've been doing some deep dives into AMD's new RDNA 4 stuff, and here's what I'm starting to think. Maybe I should just sell my PS5 Slim for like $350. Throw in another $350 and grab a PS5 Pro instead. Here's why. AMD's dropping a new lineup of RDNA GPUs next year, and I'm betting we'll also see some great laptops with RDNA 4 APUs. By then, I might be able to snag a laptop around the $1,200 mark that'll beat out any $1,500 desktop I'd build right now. Not necessarily in raw gaming power, but for workflow and editing, which is what I actually need. I mean, I don't need a monster GPU just for gaming at my desk. Plus, here's the kicker. I'm in Mexico, and right now the PS5 Pro is going for a ridiculous $1,000 because of the holiday season. But if I wait until January, I could probably get it for around $750 after tax. So yeah, that's the plan for now.